Hi guys, it's Mrs. Pettis, and today I'm going to show you how to do 6 different techniques with watercolor that'll give you different textures and different looks. This handout, if you don't have this handout available to you, you can always divide up your paper into 6 boxes. All right, so the first one is called Fade to White. We don't have a white watercolor in our tray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paintbrush. I'm going to get it wet. Let's do red. I'm going to get a little bit of red paint on there. And I'm going to paint. And I want to make sure that I'm getting a really good dark color here. Now I'm going to, instead of going back into my paint, I'm going to go into my water bucket. I'm going to swish, and then I'm just going to drag my paintbrush along the side to get the extra water out, and I'm going to paint beside what I just did. Then I'm going to swish, drag, paint beside what I just did, swish, drag, 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 drag. And you'll see that it fades into almost, into just to that nice clear clear paint, and it's letting the white of the paper shine through. All right, so to do the next one says resist. Resist. And that's where you take some sort of oily or waxy tool and you draw on here and then you paint over it. So I can do any sort of design that I want. You could write something if you wanted. You could just draw a simple, simple design. And you want to press pretty hard on here. And you can't see that I've done it, but I have, I promise. And I'll take a different color now. I'm going to get my paintbrush loaded up with a lot of color. And then I'm just going to paint that over it. And where I've put that tool, where I've drawn with the white oil pastel, it resists, it does not soak up the paint. So you could use a white oil pastel, you could use a white crayon. A lot of people have white crayons in their house. That'll work really well. But you want to make sure it's something that doesn't dissolve in water, that isn't water soluble, because when you paint over it with the water, it'll start to like lift it up and everything. All right, for these next 4, well, I'm just realizing I don't have a leaf near me. But with these next 4, what you want to do is you want to have a good amount of puddly color. So the first one we're going to do is plastic wrap. So I'm going to get some water on my brush. I'm going to swirl, get a lot of color on here. And you can use one color or you could use multiple colors. That's up to you. Maybe I'll use a little bit of red too. And you're going to use the plastic wrap like you would wrap, a sandwich or leftovers or whatever in it. You're going to crinkle it up and you're just going to smoosh it into the paint, and then you just let it be. It has to dry that way, so it might take an hour, it might be overnight, I'm not sure, but you want to make sure that you're letting it sit, and you don't want to like move it around. Let it happen, because what's going to happen is the paint is going to puddle in certain places and stick to the plastic wrap in other places, and it's going to make this really great texture. So we're going to let that be. And then our next one we're going to do is we're going to use salt. So again, I want lots of puddly color. You want to make sure that you're using a good amount of water with this, because the salt needs to, and this is just table salt that you'd sprinkle on your food. And I'm gonna, once I get it all puddly, I'm gonna put this on. And at first you're like, it doesn't really look like it's doing anything. But as the salt dissolves, it reacts with the paint a little bit, and it gives you these like burst things. It looks kind of like stars or snowflakes or something like that. So we're gonna let that sit. Once you sprinkle it, don't touch it. All right, next one, rubbing alcohol. Ooh, I like this one. All right, this one It depends on what colors you use. Sometimes it works, sometimes, I don't know. I've noticed that with some kids, it works really great, and other times it doesn't, and you just kind of have to experiment with it. All right, so I'm gonna put a lot of puddly color on there. I'm gonna take, this is a pipette. I'm going to, I have a little thing of rubbing alcohol over here, which is like rubbing alcohol is probably the #1 ingredient in hand sanitizer. And I'm just going to drop these little drips onto the purple or whatever color you're doing. And it makes kind of these little bursts. As they dry, they show up a little bit more. I think that orange tends to work really well, so you could try if you try it and it's not going really well, like just leave it, see what happens. As it dries, it might change, but try a couple of different colors too. I wonder if it matters what type of paint or what kinds of, like how they've made the colors in order for it to work. All right, last one, we're going to take, we're gonna press a leaf into this. So similar to the saran wrap, we're going to do puddly color, okay? And then we're going to take a leaf, and flat leaves work really well and fresh leaves work really well. So these are neither flat nor fresh leaves. So, you know, they're not the best, but you would just take it and you're gonna press it down and then you leave it. And since it's a nice fresh flat leaf, it's going to stick to your paint, unlike this one. And so that's it. Now you are going to leave these, let them dry, and then you'll be able to check out the different techniques after they dry. They're going to show up a little bit better once they're dry and everything. So good luck, have fun, bye.